The last two press conferences you have given, Jim, I would say that in 40 to 50 years I've been around, are two of the most candid, transparent press conferences in the history of the game. You have been so brutally honest and open with people. Why? Why is the question?
Well, you've known me for a long time. That's the way I am. I'm asked a question, I give an answer. I know sometimes I may cross the line and say a little bit too much, but that's just the way I am. And I think being transparent is important. Our fans and media, they want to know what's going on, and of course I can't tell them everything, but I like to tell them as much as I can.
Okay, so let's go with there's lots of news, but let's go with the call you got from Rick Tocchet.
Yeah, that. Well, I'll start off with what he started off saying. This is the toughest call I've ever had to make, and he's been a longtime friend. He will be forever, and he did a terrific job here. It was really trending, in my opinion, towards him staying, because every conversation Patrick Alvin and I had with him was about what took place during the season, what he'd like to do different in the off season, do different at camp, do different next year, talked about different players. And of course, there was a period of time going through a negotiation, but at the end of the negotiation, that did not affect his decision. So he has some things going on that he's working through now. I believe he's sincere in saying that he wants to get back to the East, closer to his family, and we'll see where that takes him. But we're thankful for what he did, and we wish him all the best.
At any point in this discussion, or prior to the actual offering of the new contract, you had that option to basically make him stay if he wanted, but you would have never done that. That's not what friends do to friends, correct?
Well, I suggested to him that, or a better way to say it, I reminded him and his agent that we have that option, and we can use it. But when you really sit down and think about it, whether it's a friend or not a friend, just a business associate, if somebody has their mind made up that they want to be someplace else, then it's not going to work. So at that point, I told him I would not do that to him.
Jimmy, did he communicate the wanting to go back east directly to you?
Yes, he did. His agent said that, and he has said that to me a couple of times. His son actually lived in Seattle, and works for a company in Seattle, but now he's moved back east. So, and they have a great relationship, and that's important to him.
What do you think his biggest strength was as your coach?
Oh, he had a lot of strengths. You know, he was a good communicator. He was willing to sit down and sort out the issues. One of the biggest reasons I hired him here, you know, because I was familiar with the work he did with Mike Sullivan and the day-to-day, or maybe not day-to-day, but week-to-week things that he had to deal with in Pittsburgh that the head coach either didn't want to or didn't have time to, and he was so good at it. And so this is what he did here. He had our players give it their best almost every game. Of course, playing 82 games, you're probably going to have 8 or 10 games that you're a little flatter, but he got the most out of this team. And when you consider that the last few weeks of the season, we didn't have a number 1 or number 2 center in the lineup, and we were still battling and stayed in the playoff race right down to the last 3 or 4 games, I would say a lot of credit to the players, but certainly a lot of credit to Rick Tocchet.
So it sounds like there was some back and forth about next year. Did you get a feeling of what would be a priority number 1 for that room from a head coach coming in through Rick Tocchet?
Well, he and we really like Quinn Hughes, and as a young captain, he's grown and he's doing a good job leading the team. But we still have work to do in the room as far as confidence and knowing that we can win games. And so he had talked about that issue and where we go with that, what he was going to do, and probably in short, it's more about pushing some of the guys that are a little bit quieter. Bringing in Marcus Pettersson was a big step. He really came in that room. He helped the leadership. But we have guys that are real character guys that can be leaders that to this point, and maybe it's because of everything we've dealt with and where we were at in the past, that have been a little quieter than we'd like them to be. And we hope that some guys step up.